his band members. The band doesn't seem to really come forward like really democratic, band.
They weren't. There were two classes in the band. There were the officer class and the soldiers, and the rhythm section were the working class, and the front rank was really Mick, and Keith was an honorary middle class member, and Brian, very middle class. And Bill Wyman, who was in the Stones for so long, and really contributed a lot. The riff to Jumping Jack Flash. And he was the only other one who really was a serious songwriter in the band, apart from Mick and Keith. Said he never thought he really joined the band ever. Never felt part of something.
But it's really hard.
It is. Think of how many years he was in the band too. And Mick was always, kind of condescending to him. And he was 7 years older than Mick and Keith. He was like a sort of working class uncle. They didn't quite like to acknowledge.
But how come they actually were this? They played so long together.
They did. And again, Bill only got into the band because he had a spare amplifier, like Ringo, had drums, that was the main thing, he had some drums. The way he was treated was very bad. Mick and Wyman is actually a very kind person, and even took a big risk in trying to score some heroin for Keith when Keith was under, in that whole business in Canada at the end of the 70s. Charlie Watts, Mick has always been nice to, because he's kind of bit of honesty, a bit of normality, and loves cricket like Mick does. But it was a massive politics, the band. I mean, you never have thought they would have survived for 10 years, never mind 50 years.
That's strange.
Two of them go to jail. One of them is found dead in his swimming pool. They owe the tax authorities a fortune, have to flee the country. Two more members over time resign with great bitterness. There's scandals, illegitimate children. You'd think they would have split years and years before, but no, they kept going. Because of Mick. Because of Mick.
Because of Mick? Why?
Well, he was determined they were going to go into the 70s, and they did. He took over the duties of manager. More like CEO.
CEO, so it's more like a company.
Yeah. I think their concerts, it's like them having a board meeting on stage.
Last question. How long will they go on?
Well, people were saying that 40 years ago. They're like the blues men that they used to be their own heroes, Muddy Waters, Willie Dixon, people like that, who were quite old when the Stones started liking their music. But they were cool. They were old, but they were cool. And the Stones are the same now. They're old, but they're cool. Quite young people think they're very cool. And they're, grandfathers.
So they will only stop if one of them dies?
Well, who knows if that could happen? But someone said that they have access to the biggest cash point in the universe. They're always going to go back and make another withdrawal.